Wherever the roads are, there is money too. This phrase is not unfounded. Modern transport arteries serve as a center for attracting investments, seeing that the business prefers to invest resources into regions with a developed infrastructure. Hello, my name is Danyar Batirbayev, and this program is Road to the Future. In the year 1817, at the crossing of the Caravan Pass, a settlement was founded along the river Sir-Darya. There's a description in the historical chronicle. The roofs of city constructions were erected in the form of cupolas in the form of Muslim structures, and the walls were constructed from white bricks. That's why the first title of this populated point was Ak Mosque. Now it's the city of Kizloorda. It has the status of the district center of Kazakhstan. Kizloorda is one of the parts of three important infrastructural projects: the national strategies of Nurli-Joly, the international transit motor corridor of Western Europe, Western China, and of the global initiative, the economic belt of the Silk Route. The Kizloorda district is the lullaby of world space technology and exploration. From here, more than half a century ago, Yuri Gagarin made a start to the Earth's orbit from the spaceport Baikonur. Then again, the region's inhabitants are not only proud of this. The spaceport's potential is an excellent perspective, but the riches of the Earth's depths are more real and significant for the region. The district has big reserves of mineral raw materials. Here, 65% of Kazakhstan's seams of fallow land, 15% of zinc, around 14% of uranium, and almost 5% of oil and gas. Moreover, the charcoal sector is the main source of the region's socio-economic development. "270,000 people live in Kizloorda. If you take into account the number of women, children, and elderly people, it turns out that around 90,000 are people who are fit to work, and the work of every third of them is somehow related with oil drilling. More than 20 companies deal with the drilling and processing of black gold in the Kizloorda district. They receive 65 million oil barrels yearly. Amongst the big producers, there are a few joint Kazakhstan-Chinese ventures. This joint venture is one of the main investment donors of the Kizloorda districts. Moreover, it actively invests means not only into the growth of its own production, but also into the development of the spheres from which the well-being of the whole region is dependent. The company wasn't awarded by the Presidential Prize, Paris, for social responsibility and ecology contribution. The company's asset is the group of the birthplaces of the southern Turgaysky Basin. It is the fifth oil province of the Republic in terms of its importance. At the heart of it is the Kumkolsky birthplace, the general reserves of which are ranked as 280 million tons. In 10 years of work in this region, we practically extracted 50 million tons of oil. Due to the increase of prospecting investments, the company retains the production on the level of more than 3 million tons a year. Gas turbine electric station was built at the Kumkolsky birthplace with the intensity of 100 megabytes. This installation, utilizing thousands of cubic meters of accompanying gas per day, makes a contribution not only into ecology, but also into the region's energetics. Another property of the Kizloorda district is quartz sands. Their reserves are ranked into several milliards of tons. Moreover, their chemical content is of such good quality that there are no equivalents in the world. Directly from under the shovel, without enrichment, the sands leave for the glass factories not only in Kazakhstan, but also to the republics of the former USSR. The uniqueness of Aero quartz sands is in their factional content. Due to the absence of clay, the quantity of natural pigments in them is minimal. At the same time, in their sands, there is 99% of silicon, the main component in the production of glass. There are no more quartz sands like this. This is the area near the Aral Sea, large reserves, milliards of tons of sands for today. Very clean sands, they practically lay on the surface. Resources of quartz sands near the Aral Sea are ranked according to several milliard tons, which will provide for the country's needs at least for 100 years. Thanks to such volumes, the Republic began to realize the largest Central Asian projects in a high-profile sphere. Namely, in Kyzyl-Oda, Kazakhstan's first factory for the release of flat glass will be built. For now, at the stage of construction works, it is difficult to imagine what this venture will look like. But today, already it is well known that the productivity of the factory will make up 600 tons of glass per 24 hours. Half a year ago, there was wasteland here. And here, the wind blew loudly and in a business-like manner. Now the racket of excavators and market large-capacity cars muffle its whistle. The construction of the first factory in Kazakhstan for producing flat glass is underway full speed.
На данный момент, как вы видите, строится склад готового.
For the given moment, as you see, a ready-made production store is being built. In parallel, the foundation design and shelves of the production line, where the molten pool oven will be located, the hardening lines, and so on.
Линия закалки и так далее.
The future factory's background was not simple. 10 years before the beginning of construction works, many potential investors were replaced. Today, a contract with a well-known American company serves as the partnership foundation. As a result, the joint venture LLP Orda Class Ltd was created, 80% of which belonged to the AO, Kazakhstan's investment fund, the remaining 20% to the company, Steward Engineers.
The
price of the full construction of the factory is more than 304 billion tenge. From them, 80% is the loan means of the Bank for the Development of Kazakhstan. The others are private means. Next in the program, the main development factor is human capital. The populated points, which are located near the international auto route, were the first to feel the positive effect of the construction of the international motor corridor Western Europe, Western China. A possibility arose for their inhabitants, in some cases, to acquire work in the sphere of railroad construction, for others to gain a foothold in their workplaces in other spheres. The construction of the international main line Western Europe, Western China, and the realization of the Nurly-Joly strategy, within which Kazakhstan today realizes infrastructural projects, they are creating good conditions for the development of traditional spheres of the regional economy. 95% from the entire volume of Kazakhstan's rice is produced in the Kyzyl-Oda district. For a long time, the development of the branch was held back by the power deficit of processing ventures. In the year 2015, a highly modern factory processing unpurified rice started working in the region. Its productivity is 150 tons per 24 hours. The factory was built according to technology's last word. Everything was automized and works according to the principle of pneumatic technology, in other words, in the open air. And if before during production several operators drove the systems, then now only one. Here, the entire infrastructure is created, which enables the venture to deliver produce not only to the import market, but to the export one as well. Besides, waste utilization is provisioned for within the venture. Thanks to this process, the release of mixed fodder is cultivated. For the region, which takes care of animal husbandry intensely, this direction is topical. Today in the Kyzyl-Oda district, 222 mixed fodder areas are active. In the year 2016, 2 more will open. Taking in mind that the demand for farm economies will increase for special mixed fodder, the new factory plans to expand the produce assortment. During the spring offspring, there are many expenses, and we are getting ready to help the economies, releasing the new product for monthly lambs and calves. This will be the highly nutritious, vitaminized fodder. Thanks to the regional perspectives connected to the project Western Europe, Western China, and the Nurly-Joly program, the districts which were removed from the center will receive an additional impulse. One of the sad legacies of the Soviet economy is the intense form of housekeeping. It is when, for the sake of big numbers, to please governmental plans, natural resources were exploited unsparingly. Amongst Kazakhstan's regions, which suffered the most from this approach to economics, was the zone near the Aral Sea. One of the areas of Kizilorda's motor corridor, Western Europe, Western China, passes the territory of the Aral district. Thanks to the increase in the transit potential, the number of entrepreneurs working in the sphere of small and big business increased up to 168 people in 1.5 years. Thanks to this project, tax entrance from small and medium businesses, for instance, in 2010 to 2011, before 2013, never exceeded 300 million tenge. And so, as a result of the year 2014, the tax revenue made up 544 million tenge. In the year 2015, in the Kizilorda district, the project Micro Business was launched. The program's main task is to optimize the expenses, which slow down the growth of small-medium businesses. It's as if it stimulates and provides assistance to those individuals who want to start their first business, the first entrepreneurial activity. I think this project must justify itself because it doesn't have any administrative barriers. Today in the Aral district, 28 business projects are realized for the total sum of 253 million tenge. The direction of productions is chosen with consideration of the economic priority. This is the organization of mini hothouses. The organization of collection centers is a slaughter shop, meat and dairy produce. Next in the program, business card near the Aral Sea, or what will the district's wealth grow with? The salt of the earth, in a literal and figurative sense, is located in the Aral region. Precisely here, at the venture of Aral Tuz, extract the famous Aral salt, which is well-deservedly considered as one of the brands of the Kizilorda region. The food salt is considered as the product of everyday demand. A person uses from 5 to 10 grams of each product daily. That's why in the course of its 90-year history, the venture Aral Tuz never stopped. We produce technical and food salt. For the requirements of the stock-raising branch, we'll release special salt in briquettes. That's why our production is supplied on wide rails and our venture caters for all modern requirements. Today, 300,000 tons of salt per year is produced here. This volume covers 70% of Kazakhstan's market. Part of the production, around 45%, goes to Russia, 10% to Azerbaijan, Georgia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Thanks to the territorial closeness to the international motorway, Western Europe, Western China, the Aral district today acquires additional possibilities for expansion of the market's geographies, seeing that good modern roads which lead towards the west decrease the time of weight delivery. This venture for processing fish is one of the first to sense within itself the perspective of the increase of the transit potential. Precisely on the outer route Western Europe, Western China, they deliver the export of more than 2,500 tons of fish production. Our sea is clean. Steamships sail along it. As you know, oil is not extracted here. That is why our fish parameters correspond completely to European standards. Besides, the flora and fauna of our sea are very rich, so our fish are fatty. Fish looks for depths, whereas a person looks for better production. For example, the partners of the fish factory from Poland, where private production is developed only in order to obtain a guaranteed volume of Aral fish. The venture built a second shop for processing fish with these means. It started working in December of the year 2015.
біздің ұстанған бағытымыз дұрыс деп есептейміз, өйткені
We are heading in the right direction, seeing that each year the processing industry gathers momentum. As the state head says, we should diversify the economy. The new possibilities for the venture's growth appear not only on dry land but on water. The factory concluded a barter agreement with the Russian shipbuilders, boats in exchange for fish. The first party of boats has already been acquired. Next in the program, here the foundations of a city will be laid or the windows of the growth of the construction branch. During the times of the Kazakh Khanate, there were 32 cities of the shores of Sirdarya. Continuing the traditions of the ancestors, they decided to build a new city on the left shore. As a result, following the example of Kazakhstan's capital, the project City in a City will be realized in Kizloorda. The architects plan to use Turkic motifs in the new project and the style of Middle-Age Eastern cities. Around 100,000 people will live here.
Вдоль побережья Сырдарьи предусмотрено.
Along the shores of Sirdarya, a green zone was provisioned, which will personify the Silk Road, this linear park zone on which architecture will be reproduced, the architecture and culture of this Silk Route.
Культура вот этого шелкового пути.
The realization of this project is priced at 71 billion tenge. 1,532 hectares have been allocated towards the construction of the left shore part of Kizloorda. Micro-districts, business centers, educational institutions, sport complexes will be built here. One of the engineering constructions within the new projects is the bridge under construction, which will connect the right and left shore of Kizloorda. According to the scheme of city builders, the entire infrastructure of the left shore will be created in the transport connection with the project Western Europe, Western China.
С этой трассы будет въезд в северную.
There will be an entry from the motorway to the new northern part of the city, and along and parallel to this motorway an industrial logistical zone will be built, which will be made especially for the left shore part. This factory makes its own contribution to the development of a construction sector region today. Its power is 80,000 cubic meters of reinforced concrete articles. The main raw materials for the production produce are extracted from the Kizloorda district. The venture was launched in November of the year 2015. Its productivity is 35,000 square meters of habitation per year. The Kizloorda house building combine is the only production in the district which releases empty plates. The entire technological equipment of the company Veli was leased independently with the participation of Kazakhstan's Development Bank. The social enterprise corporation Baikonur also participated independently during the investment. Today, in the conditions of the development of infrastructure and new transit perspectives, here brought in correctness into the strategy of the search for investors. Apart from direct foreign investments and means from local business organizations, the Kizloorda district is increasingly attracting capital from other regions. We drew in many entrepreneurs from other regions. For example, the big group of entrepreneurs came from the city of Almaty, who will, as a whole, help us to create a productive business in the region and will help raise local entrepreneurs. This is the so-called program National Champions. Incidentally, for the last 5 years, investments with the amount of more than 1,300 billion tenge was attracted. The equivalent of the gross regional product is 24%. Speaking figuratively, it's a cosmic scale. At one point, the boundless steppes of the region, long distances between populated points, became the reason for the choice of the first spaceport in the Soviet Union. Today, thanks to the transnational arterial road Western Europe, Western China, the Kizloorda district is getting closer both to Europe and to the countries of the Asian Pacific region, more precisely to their markets, business experience and technologies. Danyar Batirbayev was with you. See you on the way, which opens up new possibilities for Kazakhstan.